Hello everyone. Well, you are looking at the face of tired. So, let's talk about what's been going on because a lot has happened in the last couple weeks, and I mean, it's all good, it's just exhausting. First of all, I was going to get a Jada folk art blanket done and shipped by January 19th. Because, well, no, I was going to get it shipped before. It needed to be there before the 19th because the 19th was my great niece's birthday. Then, though, earlier that week, on Monday, because the 19th was a Thursday, so on Monday the landlady says, oh, they're coming tomorrow to do your floors. So, Monday night, because I knew they were coming early, I didn't sleep. Didn't sleep at all that night. In fact, by about 5:30, I just said, oh, forget it. And I got up and was doing dishes, and I didn't know what I had to clean or move or whatever for them to come. So, but they did come. They came around 9 o'clock, and I have beautiful new floors. They did all of it except for just a little part by the sliding glass doors because they just ran out of materials. And so then they came the next day early and finished them up. But, you know, that was like a whole day without sleep. I think I went like 27 hours and then I finally took a nap. So that got in the way. Then they've been measuring and doing baseboards, and most of the baseboards are in now. Still not done, because they now have to, well, the baseboards were painted. They decided to paint them before they put them in, but you know, they used a nail gun to attach them, and so now they have to fill in all the nail holes and sand them all and then repaint that, so it's like all the furniture has to move again twice. So needless to say, I still, after nearly 7 months here, have not been able to unpack, except for the necessities. So hopefully that will be done within the next couple of weeks. But all that was very disrupting to my crochet. I did just last night finish that Jada blanket, which I'm going to show you. Let's see. Okay. So I don't have anybody anymore to just stand up and hold on to the blanket and just show it at one piece. Because like my landlady's short, so this blanket's bigger than she is. And I should also say, well, there's a few things I'm going to point out about this folk art blanket from 2019. First of all, the blanket, if you do it with a 5.5 millimeter hook, it's going to come out 3 feet by 4 feet before you put the border on. Now her border I don't use because I just felt like 3 feet by 4 feet was a little small for a child's afghan, and only kids have received this from me, and I'm pretty sure this is the 21st one I have made. So let me just show you. You can see I put on this border that adds about 3.5 inches to each side. And let's see, okay, I can't even show it all in the whole screen. Okay, wait, let me see here. Okay, so let me get the houses, and I hope this is all showing. So anyhow, it's done. And I'm waiting on some yarn that's supposed to be here tomorrow so that I can finish an amigurumi that I'm making for her that's got a lot of sparkle in it. Now, one thing I want to show you about these trees. If you're doing this, keep perspective in mind. Do not sew on the tops of the trees before you sew on all the bottoms. And the reason is the ones that are more up front are closer. So you don't want to interfere with the perspective and be sewing on treetops that are going to like overlap the things that are in front, because then it wouldn't be in perspective. So just keep that in mind, that if you do this, do the one, put the tops on the trees that are furthest in the back first, and then work your way front. And I wasn't thinking about that, and I nearly made the mistake of getting out of perspective, but anyways, I didn't. Okay, so that's one down. I have 4 more of these to complete, but then I recently got some yarn, which I didn't post that video just because I got busy with people coming by and workers. So I thought, well, okay, don't think I'm crazy. Now, I'm not totally crazy, but I had this vision of doing the Jayda blanket with some sparkle yarn in the water part, and I couldn't find the right sparkle yarn for a winter water, you know, to make it look like sparkling ice. But I'll show you this, but I'll talk about it again. This big twist twinkle. I don't know if it's twinkling that much, but anyways, so I've done a couple of bottom parts of that, and I'll just be doing a couple more of these. Maybe I'll put them in my Etsy shop, which, excuse me, I won't link to because there's absolutely nothing in it anyway, so it doesn't matter. But so you can see this has sparkle yarn, and it's let's see if I can make it sparkle. There we go, it's sparkling a little bit. This is actually a teal, and I thought, well, that looks interesting for water. So I have 2 of these started. I also have this sparkle yarn or twinkle yarn, I should say. It's the Joann's in a dark blue. So, okay, so that's what I'm working on. And I just pulled out another blanket that's completely done. It's time for me to start sewing on appliques, because I have almost all the appliques made for all the blankets. I'm just down to doing the flowers, the lighthouses, the whales, and the boat, and I'm done. In the meantime, I think last week I did 2 little amigurumi tests for Zabez, which I can't show, but I can show you one that I did back in November that's finally become public and is on his Etsy shop, and which I will link to it. And by the way, I don't get any kickback or anything from linking to his stuff. It's just if you're interested and you want to buy the pattern, great. If you happen to read Dutch, you can buy his books and get the patterns. But anyways, so this one, I try to color match as best I can with the colors that he originally uses, and sometimes I can, sometimes I can't, but I can always get pretty close. And this one, I couldn't quite get the colors he was using, and that's fine. So I used aqua and I think teal, and it's a little tooth fairy. You can see. And so I gave it to my landlady because she used to be a dentist. And I don't know if I'll make another one. I might. I mean, it was pretty easy. So I might make another one. And I just love these little curly wild things coming out of the side. So I got that done. And I'm trying to think. That's it for what I've got as far as crochet. I did see somebody's demonstration on closing up the top of a head, and I'll show you this top of this head. Now see, I went from like 12 to 6, but it always looks like that. It never looks great. And now I kind of don't care because this one will have a hairpiece on the top, so that will cover it up. But I saw somebody demonstrate taking the decrease, you get down to 12 and not doing a 6, and then you kind of I'll demonstrate it, but you kind of thread through the front loops of those 12 stitches and then cinch them up, and it makes a perfect little circle. Looks like a magic ring. So I probably am going to try that on the next amigurumi, and I've just volunteered for one, but I haven't heard back yet. I should be starting on it tomorrow though. I kind of, I don't think Sabez watches my channel, but I've done probably about 30 of them now. With maybe 4 of them I've just bought the pattern, and I kind of feel like I'm not sure I have much more to offer. And I'm also, because I've done so many and so many things are exactly the same pattern to pattern, that I'm not really reading the pattern anymore. I'm just looking at the numbers, and that's not what he needs. And so I feel like I'm not really doing a great service to him anymore. But on the other hand, if he tries to get 6 testers per pattern, and if I see a test pattern that's going lacking enough volunteers, then I'll throw my name in the ring. Like this one, I mean, he put it up 2 days ago and he's only gotten 4 out of 6, so I said, okay, fine, I'll test, and I'll try to read the pattern all the way through instead of just looking at the numbers. But unfortunately, I think which is what I do with all patterns, really. I mean, unless there's something complicated, I'm just like, give me the number and I'll do it, and that's fine. So anyways, that's all I have for crochet at the moment. Although I always think of so many things to say about crochet, and then I never get them said because I'm just having a conversation in my head. But okay, so let me talk about gardening for a little bit, because if you know, we went through some horrendous weather here. Well, not horrendous. I mean, in some places it was horrendous because they had some major flooding, but not where I live. But we just had rain for a couple of weeks, and it was, I couldn't really go out and garden. I couldn't go out and do any weed whacking. Let me tell you, the grass and the weeds grew about 12 to 18 inches. Some of it was really tall. And we don't have a lawnmower. So I've been weed whacking the entire yard, sort of side and back, trying to keep this grass and these weeds down. Now, the weed whacker we have is not an industrial model, you know. It has a battery, and actually we have 2 batteries for it, and each battery will last about half an hour. But when you're cutting down grass that's like a foot tall, it's not a one pass thing. It's you go over it and over it and over it and over it to get through one little patch. And finally you get it cut down. And if you can keep it low like that, then going back over it later is not a problem. But when it gets out of control, it just takes a while. And so I've been doing that. And I told the landlady, I said, we cannot treat the weed whacker like a lawnmower. I mean, I don't want to get a gas, well, we can't get gas mowers in this state. Anyways, we have a gas mower out under my porch, but it's not working. I have no idea how to make it work. I have no idea what to do with it. I said, let's just get one of those hand push, old-fashioned kind, and that's fine. I can work with that, but we can't just keep treating the weed whacker like a lawnmower, because although it works, it's a ton of work. And I went out, I think it was 2 days ago, and I weed whacked for an hour. My arm was like ready to fall off. It was just, finally I got to the point where I couldn't even lift the thing. And I didn't have any muscle soreness afterwards, because my arm's getting really strong, but after a while it just, because you're literally holding the thing up the whole time. So anyways, so today I went out. I still was working on some trouble spots, and half hour was all I could do. When the battery ran out, I was like, oh, that's it. My arm is already wrecked and tired still from 2 days ago. So the thing is, I gotta get more under control, because we're expecting rain on Sunday and Monday, which is gonna make everything go crazy again. And that's fine. I like it when God waters and I don't have to, because he does a much better job than I do. But that grass just grows crazy. So the landlady can spend like $100, $150, get one of those old-fashioned push mowers. They're called reel mowers, R-E-E-L, if you want one. Home Depot sells them, Lowe's sells them, so I'm hoping she'll get that. And we have a little squirrel. I'm pretty sure a squirrel is a culprit, who has been into the garden bed. And I had just planted a bunch of lettuce and chard and some bok choy, and yeah, that little critter decided that was a pretty good meal and has been chomping on it. So hopefully it will come back. But yeah, in the meantime, I've got tons of plants. I just bought 2 big basil plants from Trader Joe's, and I'll put those in the ground. And I have a kale plant that's waiting to go in, and some baby romaine, and some lavender and snapdragons and pansies and little pansies, 2 different sizes. And what else over there? Well, anyways, yeah, so I have a lot of planting to do. Of course, now I'm all nervous. What's the matter, bud? Hold on just a moment. I just had to open the door to the second bedroom where the cat litter box is. I don't know how that door got closed. But anyhow, the cat needed to go in there. So, back to gardening. So I just have a lot of gardening to do. And I had to actually weed whack the garden beds today, because the grass, this grass is so invasive. It just gets everywhere. One of the garden beds was completely full of it. I cut it down. I still have to go through and dig up the roots, but Oh my gosh, that grass is so bad, so invasive. I honestly don't know how it gets everywhere. All I can think is that the roots are spreading underneath, and up pops another bunch of grass here and here, and oh my goodness. Anyhow, I think that's about it for this video. I guess I will attach the other video that I actually made previously with the yarn haul. I'll attach that, and sorry that this one might be a little bit long, but anyhow. Greetings and Happy New Year, everyone. Well, I just spent 4 hours in Pasadena, and when I came back there was a ginormous box from Joann's, biggest box I've ever seen from Joann's. Now, I had ordered some yarn because for Christmas I received a gift certificate from the landlady for Joann's. So right now Joann's is having a Yarnormous yarn sale. I think it goes through January 11th. And so I decided I would partake. Seemed like a good time, except of course the box arrived when we were in Pasadena. And I always get nervous when a box gets left on the porch because I'm afraid of porch pirates. But anyway, so it was still there when we got back. Anyhow, not that we have ever had a problem with porch pirates, but the possibility exists, especially since we live on a very main street, and the front door opens to the main street, and the porch is, I mean, it's just right there. But thankfully it was still there. Anyhow, so let me show you what I got. I have this huge pile of yarn right on this side of me. So I wanted to get some of that sparkle yarn by Big Twist because I'm thinking of, yeah, believe it or not, after the 5 Jayda blankets that I'm making a few more and putting them for sale in Etsy. But we'll see. So I wanted to get some sparkle yarn because a few years ago I made one Jayda blanket that was sort of winter themed, and I wanted to have the water part look like it was frozen, but I couldn't find any gray sparkle yarn. And they had gray sparkle yarn. And let's see if I can make it sparkle for you. But it doesn't have that silver filament in here. It's something else. And so I got 2 of those. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna have to throw them on this side. Then I thought, where's that other one? Oh, here it is. If I do some more Jayda blankets, I will do some more Jayda blankets. Might be interesting to do some of the water at the bottom in the blue sparkle yarn. You can really see it sparkling. So I got a couple of those. This is the color Sapphire. And then I got a couple in teal. Nice and sparkly. And another one of these. Okay. And I got 2 in red. Let's see that sparkle. I'll use this for something Christmassy. I don't know what yet, but I will. And then I got 3 of them in the white sparkle. Let's see if I can get it to sparkle. Come on, sparkle for me. Well, I don't know, you might not be able to see the sparkle. But anyway, so I got 3 of those. There was one color I didn't get because I just wasn't sure what I was going to use it for. I'll probably regret not buying it, but anyways. Okay, so then You know, because I've made so many Jada blankets, I didn't really have a whole lot of a darker blue for water. So I ended up getting 3 of these varsity blues for potential future Jada blankets. So this will be a good watercolor. No sparkle, but anyway, so I got 3 of those. Then there's a strip of brown for a road in the Jada blankets, and I just hardly had any brown. I mean, really, I've just got some little tiny bits left of skeins. I have like 3 tiny bits. So I got 3 in this color, which is toffee. And then I got 1 in the camel. Or, is that camel? Yeah, camel. I might have 1 more skein of this, I'm not sure. Then I got 1 in pale yellow. And I did not have a good sky color for the blankets I just put together. And so I was using aqua for the sky, and it worked okay, but I really wanted something like this red heart light blue. So I got 3 skeins of that. That'll cover me for 3 to 4 more Jada blankets if I want. And that's my yarn haul from Joann's, which was pretty huge. I think it was 22 skeins total. Then I've been making the appliques for the 5 Jada blankets. I'm going to finish up the appliques for 1 of the blankets tonight because I need to get it into the mail on Saturday, next Saturday, and to get it to my great niece by the 19th of January. And that will be her 2nd birthday. And then she and all of her siblings will have 1 of the Jada blankets. So I had been doing all the appliques, like, you know, do all the suns, do all the trees, and now I'm just going to go ahead and just complete those. And I should be able to finish the rest of the appliques tonight. And yesterday I was working on 1 of the appliques, these little horses. Let me show you. Now the tail is sticking up because later you sew it down and kind of curl it, but this little horse applique. And kind of just bend this, and see his little tail will get sewn down and kind of curl into his body. And then I thought, oh gosh, the horse is going to be kind of near the trees, and I'm using the same color for some of the tree trunks, and I wasn't sure about that. So then I made 1 that was white with a gray mane. But then I was waiting on that sparkle yarn because two of them are going to girls, and so I thought, well, I'll make some pink horses with some white sparkle manes. So I need to do that tonight. Because once you like make 1, you get the pattern for that applique memorized, and you can just whip them out really, really fast. So there I was, just making horses last night. I've actually got extra horses for future blankets. And I did finish all the houses and all the appliques for the houses. That took a long time. But I kind of enjoy the houses, but they just take a long time because they've each got a door that needs a little French knot, and then the door has to be sewn on. Then they have 2 to 3 windows that have to be sewn on, and then some embroidery around the windows. So yeah, they're a lot of work, and I'm hoping I can get the whole thing sewn together in 1 day so I can go ahead and start the border. But that's where I'm at. I have, let's see, I have all the flowers to make. So there's I'm doing 5 blankets. There's 5 flowers per blanket. So that's 5 stems and 5 flowers per blanket. So that's 50 little appliques just for that. Then I have 5 lighthouses to make, 10 whales, and 5 boats. But the boat has 4 pieces, so that's 20 appliques. So there's a lot of little pieces for this thing. But if you're only doing 1, it's not a problem, but when you're doing 5, it's like that's a lot of work. Okay, so let me show you one thing I did while I was in Pasadena, because I went to Pasadena to take the landlady to have lunch with one of her old college roommates. And I said, okay, well, while you're having lunch, I'm going to go to Ace Hardware. There's an Ace Hardware in South Pasadena. And so I did. Let me show you what I got. So I went into Ace Hardware with the intention of buying some vegetable plants that I could just go ahead and put in the garden. So this is some type of lettuce. Here we have parsley. Here is some celery that is not looking that great. We have some bok choy over here. And then we have some radishes back here. And let's see, what was this one right here? Oh, this is chard. So these will just be to help me kind of get started, because, well, let's face it, I am a total idiot amateur. I don't know what the heck I'm doing, and I don't want to be dependent on just starting seeds for the garden. So this will be good. We've got lots of rain happening right now. I can't remember what they call the storm system, but right now it's just one storm after another is rolling in, and Northern California is getting hit really hard. But anyhow, so that is a lot of work to get those into the garden tomorrow, but I will. Thanks for tuning in, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.